Hi, welcome. In this video, you're going to see me performing the basic relational changing script with Kota. Now, this is the first time I've interacted with Kota. This is day one, phase one with this script. You can hear to see how he wants to come out a little bit. I'm just bringing him back in to the staging area right beside me. So, to define what the relational changes script is, okay, it's about right relationships. It's about how a dog's decision-making process is governed at the social relational level. So, the building blocks of change represent reasonable influence, okay? So it's based on what's reasonable, okay? How you're communicating that to the leash. And here within this situation, me doing the training to the personality type of the person. So here what we're going to see as we're doing the script is the head, Kota's head turning in towards me. It's like his decision-making process coming through me, okay? So the head turning in doesn't have to be looking up at me, but what I'm doing is I'm continuing to bring him within the follower position, okay? So it's basically the heel position. You see him coming out of the script. Just putting him back in, push, pull. Okay, again, look at me for a second. I'm not trying to hold him in tight. I'm working him in, okay? So smooth, fluid technique. It's not about, putting unreasonable influence on him. It's more like it takes the form of a nudging. So just nudge, 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 nudge. Tap, tap a little bit. And here, so it's not about, if you look at this method is proactive. It's about relational change. Okay, it's not reactive, waiting for the mind to go over the tipping point. Okay, it's about identifying training for what it is. It's a relational changing process. So keeping in that in mind, so I'm not using commands. Okay, because I'm communicating. There's depth to this at a different level. He knows the intent because again, it's based on what's reasonable. So back in, push pull. A push pull is meant to create a better moment, okay? So these moments, what they do is they fade me into the picture within the moment itself, with the head turning in, and they create relational change because what they do is the building blocks will change. So they begin to influence the dog's overall decision-making process as these moments build on each other. But here it's about a dog coming into agreement with the process, with what's reasonable. Okay, that's a very important point here when people are trying to establish something to motivate the dog or influence the dog's state of mind. Okay, you want to stay away from certain motivating agents because it's how those package up relationally. You're dealing with an issue of devaluation here based on the dog rejecting what's reasonable. So here I'm going to start to move a little bit too. So here stationary, okay, into the script. I'm going to move him forward. Again, as I'm moving him forward, communicating. Okay, I'm blocking his ability to go in front of me. Okay, I'm using the circle method to cut him off a little bit using my whole body. I want him beside me. Yeah, moving. His tail's wagging as I go. You see, this is just about power. Okay, this isn't about what's unreasonable. This makes sense to him. Okay, forward, back in, push on his bum, push, pull. Okay, he wants to, here you see dogs want to engage somebody at more of an emotional level. They want the balance of the script to shift. Okay, I'm not allowing that to happen. Okay, and again, it's not about being mean to him at all. I'm not mad, I'm not angry, okay? I'm just focused, okay, on my next move, my next moment. Push, pull. I'll move forward again. Forward. Now here, when you deal with some dogs, okay, that have a huge amount of power, okay, this wouldn't be so, you're going to get a very unreasonable reaction. Kota is doing very, very well because on the level of relational change, he needs, a good level to become a service dog, but he's not at the aggressive level. Okay, if he was aggressive, number one, he wouldn't be going through the service dog training part of this. But if I'm dealing with an aggressive dog case, I need certain protocols such as a muzzle, okay, to help so that the dog cannot bite. Okay, so it's all about understanding how the dog's mind reacts, okay? But influence is required. Just understand, if you do this, people who try to use, say, treats or other things to try to build a picture of change, oftentimes that doesn't package up properly because even though the dog is going to go into certain positions, they're continuing to devalue the person. That's why the service dog industry is such a problem because many of these dogs are in a possessive state, okay? This is why they go into airports or different locations with the dog. People are rolling their eyes because these dogs are out of control, okay? The wheels come off the train. So this process is meant, how I do it, it's all follow the sequence. And so commands come online once relational change takes hold. The dogs actually, I know not using commands is very challenging for people because we have a certain way of thinking, but dogs actually know the intent based on the type of connection that they have, that's established between other dogs and people. Okay, so they know the intent. But if I was pushing too hard, too fast, that would be unreasonable. Okay, that wouldn't be the type of communication or relational changing process that I'm talking about. Okay, it's about creating the standard. So basically, how I think, okay, translates into that standard. Okay, the dog is coming into agreement with it. Even though you're going to see certain reactions from Kota, still makes sense to him. Okay, understand, it's not what's unreasonable. He's going to come into agreement. He already is coming into agreement with it. So it's about how I'm communicating. So I am interrupting levels of how the mind separates. You'll see that. So again, moving forward with Kota, tapping as I go. These tails wagging all along here. This isn't meant to be unreasonable, just a reasonable amount of influence. Back in, push, pull. Now, again, if the dog was holding a huge amount of power, I would be more, this script would be kind of looser, okay? How the script kind of defines itself and tightens up. It's about the dynamics, it's about understanding where the dog is at. So again, I move forward again. Back in, just keep tapping. Move forward. Back in. On the bum. Push, pull, to create more of a moment. See how his head lifts up, comes in through me, back in, and then once the leash transfers over, then back to the little nudges again. Okay, so here in the process, I'm the one creating relational change. Okay, I'm setting the standard, which is important. Okay, so the service dog standard need to have a very high level. So this is what's happening in phase one. We're getting this script. So right now, day one, the script is coming online. You're going to see, but it's very intentional. It's all about the leash, how that translates. I'm not worried about the picture itself. Okay, don't get caught up in the separation of dogs. That could be totally based on a counterfeit. Okay, you need to make sure how I do this is making sure relational change happens. And then the dog is, creating some level of separation. It's going to be solid. Okay, because I followed the sequence. Okay, so it's all about establishing that. To control, mechanisms of control. And not just control change. So the leash is control, represents control, but it's a relational changing tool. Okay, understand that. So just like my personality type creates that change as well. Okay, so it's all about how that sets up to the person himself. Okay. So anyway, just a little glimpse into the training process. And we provide him daily updates with Kota. You're going to see him as he comes on. See them, go push and pull, see his head lift. Okay, but it's not about emotion when I'm doing that. It's about asserting influence. Okay, it's like a hey you. It's like I own everything. Okay, that's how it's communicating. I own it all. Okay, so it's about how he connects to different things, his environment, other people, other dogs. This is all about establishing me, the person, as a pivot point. And then that comes on to the owner. Okay, so it's about getting the person to fade into the picture. All right, thanks for watching. Hope this was informative. Hope you have a great day.